I got to get done with this segment or this part. So I've talked about this is more on the people in Seattle. I guess in a nutshell, I covered racism and experiencing it when I was younger and all that stuff, and racism now and crime and everything. But for the most part, Seattle has always been a very hospitable, understanding, liberal city. Most of the people here are really cool, really laid back, easygoing, accepting of one another. For the most part, it used to be you could come up to a total stranger and talk to him any time of the day, pretty much about whatever you wanted, and in some parts or sometimes in Seattle that actually occurs. It was a really, really good place to meet people from all over the world, whether they're strange or whether you know them through a friend or not, And then it used to be a really, really easy place to meet people and interact. And there's different factors that happened, like the crime got so bad at the bars I used to frequent when I was younger. The crime was so bad they literally closed the bars down and the restaurants, which eliminated that. And there's a lot of crime that goes on, and so people don't want to go out and party if they're going to get worried about getting blown away by somebody that gets upset or in a fight or whatever, whereas back in the day, that went on occasionally, but it wasn't to the point of where they had to start closing bars down. So, and I haven't been in years, so I don't know about that part of social interaction. Maybe I should go to a bar at night in downtown Seattle and see what it's really like now. But back before I went to Japan 10 years ago, downtown wasn't a good place to go at night, in the dark, by yourself, man or woman, because all the crime and all that stuff. Then I'm in Seattle because of that. That's how you know. I can tell you I'm in Seattle all day long. They make movies here and say they're filmed here, but they're not. They're filmed somewhere else. Part of it's filmed here, but yeah. You can see that. Downtown maybe there. I don't know about the resolution quality. You can see the clouds and the rain. And that's how you know. And I've been here since I was 3, adopted into the family here. Could have been an abortion, but anyways, that's another story. So we're just mainly focusing on the people of Seattle. So they used to be really liberal, really cool, really laid back. There's free love stage and all that stuff. And then it's just become nasty because of the crime. And the whole country has become that way. Part of it's the news media, the movies and everything have exacerbated the problem by making people more scared of each other, by showing all the killings and stuff and crime and all that stuff. But it's actually worse. So it's based on truth, but to have it rubbed in your face all day long, it makes you kind of, you hear about killings and serial killers and rapists, and some guy starts talking to you in the grocery store and you just watch it on your phone or whatever. You're probably not going to want to talk to him that much because you still have memories that are influenced by the media you were just exposed to, and maybe life experiences or maybe not. I don't know. But what's happened is like everywhere in the country, people are more fearful and paranoid of each other out in public. And they didn't used to be in Seattle, but that's occurred too in Seattle, I've noticed over the years. And so that interferes with dating, social reaction, and all this different stuff. And what's happened is these corporations have taken over our social lives, and it all started with social media, how great the social media is, and how people are going to connect that wouldn't normally connect from all over the world, and how it's just going to open Pandora's box with everybody being able to communicate with everybody all the time, everywhere, and every place. And I've been on the planet almost half a century. And I've seen it through lots of different phases, and I've seen Seattle through lots of different phases. Like I said, I was in Japan for 10 years, so I missed that phase. Other than when I came back, it was a lot more crowded. And I guess this will be my last part of the Seattle people and everything is, in my opinion, the internet has meant dating worse. It's meant met social reaction worse. Like I used to hit on chicks all the time on Facebook. I would just, if they were cute, even if it was a fake picture and I didn't even read their profile and they had a fake profile, if I just saw a cute picture of a cute chick, I would just add her on. And you could do that all day long. Now it's like they ask you, do you really know this person? You know? So Facebook screwed up there. So I don't even really want to be a part of Facebook because of that, because I think you should be able to, everybody should be fair game. What else? Then also, you used to have guts. You had to be an alpha male like me, or even betas in Seattle were fine, where you actually walk up and start talking to the girl in real life. And you could tell by her body language, the eye contact, and the conversation, whether she was scared of you, interested, or not. And that's the basic instinct. I mean, it's all about sex and fear and survival. And so you could tell basically by her instincts, if you want to look at it on that level, whatever. If you don't believe in all that stuff, you know, that's fine. But you could basically, by the body language, you could tell if someone wanted to talk to you or not, you know, guy or girl, potential mate or not, or threat or not, or whatever. You know, you had an idea when you met people in the real world, in real life, in Seattle. But now we have this cyber world. And there's so many fake profiles. There's so many fake people. And you have all these corporations and media trying to control how you should think about each other, how you should interact with each other. It's total freaking brainwashing, and it doesn't matter on the country or place because it's everywhere now. With the social media, they track everything you do. So all your privacy is gone, regardless of what you think. I mean, I can't say that I've known people in the CIA or people in the NSA or any of that stuff. I cannot divulge that information, but trust me, I mean, I don't even want to go into explaining it, but if you have an electronic device, if you have a smartphone, or you don't even need to have that, they know everything about you anyway, so. But they don't know how to really figure it all out because there's too much information, so they can never get their act together and really stop things from occurring that they claim that they were able to do when they started with that sort of technology. But I'm getting off here. Basically, it's just corporations have taken over people's brains as far as social interaction going. And I haven't had any luck with the dating sites at all. And the few dating sites that I was a member of a paid one time, and I met a few women, and one woman was a different weight proportion to height proportion than I preferred. I mean, that's my personal preference. I'm not saying, I mean, people with different height to weight proportions, there's somebody for everybody. There's somebody to love for everybody. And then another woman lied about, I don't even want to talk about it, but she just lied about so much that when I saw her a couple times, they lied about so much that when I saw them in the profile, they recognized me and I didn't recognize them when we would meet in a restaurant, like in the waiting room or something. What's that say about their profile when they recognize me and I don't recognize them? And they were uploading themselves at their best like 5 or 10 years before, you know, they claimed they're. And then guys, or I'm guilty of that too. I'm claiming to be younger than I am, and I will continue to do so. And the unfortunate thing is, like in other countries I've been in, age isn't a big deal, but the States has turned into a real big deal. So I got to be careful before I hit on a gal that's younger. And ironically, when I was younger, I liked older women, and now that I'm older, I like younger women. But that's basically instinct, and that can be explained fully. So yeah, it's basically, and now my audio's getting overridden by somebody else, so it's time for me to move on. So the social interaction, and then people, it has gone down, like where I'm at right now, Alki. I mean, back in the day, the guy that had the coolest muscle car and the best drugs got the girls, and I mean, it was like a big cruise trip. Alki Beach had really cool muscle cars, Chargers and Challengers and Trans Ams and Mopars and everything, and Corvettes and Porsches, and they used to drive up and down the street right here, and there was social interaction in that way. And a bunch of freaking people moved in and decided they make it all a family neighborhood, and that all that partying and fun wasn't part of the family, and so they basically got rid of all of that. All the cruise strips and all that stuff are gone. They used to have another cruise strip on Aurora that went all the way from like downtown Seattle all the way to Everett. That was a total cruise strip where people would park their cool cars and show their shiny engines and interact and all that stuff. But like I said, the corporations have taken over, and they're dominating how people think and interact with each other, and the dating sites and all that stuff. And from what I can see from being alive almost a half a century, is it's not good. It's bad. One of my sisters met her husband online. He's beaten her twice or three times. I said I'd put him in a ditch if it happens again. I mean, she might have deserved it at times, from seeing her and her worst. But still. And they met online and in a chat room. It wasn't a formal dating site. And like I said, I've never had any result with meeting people online. All my wives I met in person, in real life. I met in a grocery store, one. The second one I met at a King's Fork buffet. She was getting dessert, and then I just commented on her dessert, and she commented how much I was putting on my dessert. So, and then it started out with a date, and then went from there to marriage. So that was meeting a real person in real life in real time, in reality. And this cyber world makes me sick. It's really sick. And as a male, the odds are stacked up against you because you have so many guys hitting on the women that they get hit on so much in so many different ways that they probably don't know. They probably don't have time or even a chance to go through all the profiles. It's probably just hit or miss if they actually click on you or not. But anyway, so as a male, it's more difficult. And then prostitution is obviously taken over. So there's a lot of prostitutes online and everything. And I am totally for prostitution. Don't get me wrong there. I would love it if prostitution were legal. I think a woman's body is her right to sell it or whatever. I mean, if you have an asset, you have a right to sell it. A woman's body is an asset. We know that for millions of years. So anyways, she should have the right to sell that, and so I don't think that should be illegal. But anyways, the internet has totally just screwed up everything socially, and made it worse for me, and I don't see it getting better. So I use my old-fashioned approach. I walk up and I read the body language, or I put myself in a situation where I can interact with the other individual and I can study their body language and see whether they're interested or not, consciously or unconsciously. That's another story. They're all interested in you. They are. Both ways. It's just pure instinct. But it depends on how they're brainwashed and how they think. And that depends on the country, their belief systems, and many, many different variables. Their childhood, psychology, their life experience. There's a lot of variables there. But at least when you meet them in real life, you get an idea of how they're going to respond to you. And right away it's either go or no go. But then you have to deal with rejection, face-to-face rejection. And then I've had women be downright rude and start attacking me because I would try picking them up in public. And we're not talking about groping. I've never groped women, grabbed asses, or anything like that if I didn't know them. Well, maybe at a party in the 70s or something, but not for years. Not for years. I've never done anything like that. And so I've had them be downright rude to me and insultive and try to chastise me and cuckold me or whatever, just because they're power tripping, whatever, And so so you have to put up with the rejection and everything. It's either that or just spend your time in fantasy land, and you go from that to looking at porno, back to looking at the dating site, back to looking at porno, and then you never really meet anybody in real life, and you don't develop your social skills because you've been doing that, and that's no way to develop social skills. So it basically that makes me sick. They've ruined that interaction with people in Seattle.